Well, good morning, students. You can see an enchanting portrait right now, right? Who was she? She was Pocahontas. She was the daughter of Powhatan. He was a powerful chief of an tribal community. And this tribal community, you can see the word confederacy in the textbook, is nothing but conglomeration. Like many tribes came together. There were almost 25,000 members, and these tribes were known as Algonquin tribes. So she was a daughter of a powerful chief. She was quite beautiful and enchanting, and due to her beauty and liveliness, she was always active. That's why the name came. The name meant the playful one. Okay, so this was about Pocahontas. Where did they stay? It was like today's modern day Virginia. So basically, they were known as Native Americans. All right, so they stayed in low lying coastal regions. They lived a proper normal tribal life whereby they built wooden homes. Then they used to have nice canoes, those which move in water. Okay, it's like small boats. And then they used rocks and bones to make tools. They were having everything primitive, nothing modern. The men hunted and fished. So they used to take care of the outside activities, whereas women farmed. Now, these people lived in those areas for a very long time, and they knew which soil was fertile and what was basically necessary for living. So they were strugglers and survivors, and they were the basic inhabitants of those lands. Okay, now it was known as Virginia. Those were just that time Native American lands, so they were not specific name given to those lands. They were staying there for long, and the lands belonged to them, and they had all the ownership rights there. So that was the basic plot. On 4th May 1607, there came a turning point in life of Pocahontas. She was sitting on a hilltop, admiring the view, and suddenly she saw a huge ship. Okay, she saw a huge ship sailing towards her. It was quite an exciting moment for a small 12-year-old Pocahontas because she had never seen that in her life. So she came running to her father very excitedly, telling him the details of the incident. Now, the chief, who knew that they were the English traders coming to their place, wasn't very happy because instances like this had taken place in past, and they always were having some bad effects, after effects. Like these English traders would come, try to steal from them, and many people used to get hurt, some used to get killed. So he didn't like the idea of English traders coming to their uh, lands. Pocahontas also had a brother known as Nantakas, and he was quite a sturdy warrior. So he said, "Definitely, father, I too agree with you. It's not a very pleasant situation." So both brother and sister duo sat in the canoe, went to the bay to find out more about them. Then they saw that there was a tall man with red hair and white skin. He was Captain John Smith. He was basically a gentleman. See, all these traders had come there because King James, their ruler, had sent them to trade, find out better routes. So they were more of explorers and traders, and they had the information that there was a lot of gold and silver, hidden in those places, and even for trading spices and all the nearby places, like from Asia and all, they could actually win. Okay, so I mean they can actually win from this expedition. So they had come there, and it wasn't the first expedition as such. You people know that English travelers always come to find out, always explore the whole world to trade. So they came there, and they found that the place is quite good. See, it was just an outer experience. They didn't have the proper knowledge. It was just at a glance that they felt that this is like a nice peninsula surrounded by water from all sides, so we won't have any problem of drinking water. Secondly, we can find easier water routes to different places, and since it is surrounded, it can be defended nicely. So, thinking all those things, they plan to settle down there, and they named the town as Jamestown settlement, um, in as an honor for their king. Secondly, for the ruler, and they named the river which passed by as James River. Okay, so that was their first hand experience of the place. But all the dreams of these first settlers turned sour. The reason behind this was they were traders. They had very little practical experience of farming, food storage, organized labor. They didn't know how to survive in these hostile conditions. And that's why, slowly, steadily, the numbers started dwindling. They were almost 104 when they had come there, but within few months they started reducing. They were barely 38 left, and that was the time when they decided to take help of their neighbors, the Native Americans. Now they had interesting food with them. Okay, uh, sorry, they had interesting tools with them, right? So these people, like I've told you earlier, used to just hunt and fish with very primitive tools. They didn't have anything modern, but they had lot of storage of food. So what is these Native Americans did? They traded food for these tools, and for a few months or so, they had some nice friendly trading. But they were always skeptical about these Britishers. They felt that these Englishmen, whenever they get a chance, they will attack us. So we have to be always on the safer side. And whenever these traders were found just outside the settlement, then they used to capture them and keep them as captives. Okay. So what happened one day was their captain, uh, Smith, he had gone to forest to look for more food. So every now and then they cannot just depend on them. They had to try something on their own also. Now, this was just next to their settlement. So immediately the tribal warriors caught hold of him and his fellow men and brought him to their settlement. Okay. Now he thought that he must be killed. And Captain Smith wanted to prove that he is a friendly person. And so he just removed his magnetic compass and said, I'll just give this as a gift if you save my life. Now, what these people felt was that they had a lot of magic. They didn't know that they were all modern tools, like their guns and pistols and all. They thought it was magic. When they fired it, there used to be fire. So, what is this? So, they thought that he's a magician, he's giving them something evil. So, he immediately wanted to kill him. But Pocahontas had always been to their place, seen things, so she explained it to her father that he's a good person and you please save his life. Pocahontas was his favorite, so he listened to his daughter and saved him. Immediately, Captain Smith thanked Pocahontas, went to his people, he told them about Pocahontas and how friendly she is, and after that, they became very good friends. Pocahontas started visiting their settlement, brought food and some small gifts from her tribe to their, and then he used to regale her by telling stories about how beautiful England is, how beautiful London is. Okay, all those stories about London were of real interest to Pocahontas because she was a lively girl who wanted to explore. So definitely she started dreaming of that world also. But this friendly trading didn't survive for long because even this tribe, Powhatan tribe, started facing a problem due to drought and their own crop was less. So, how could they give crop to these people? And these people were struggling for food. So finally, they thought that if they are not giving on a friendly terms, we should snatch from them. So they started staging a war like a bit because they wanted food to survive. Now, the chief decided that he should put an end to all this. So he decided of an idea. He called Captain Smith to his place on friendly terms, said that you stay there today in one of the cabins, and tomorrow we'll find a solution for all these problems. But in the meanwhile, he had decided to kill him. Now, Pocahontas, who came to know about this, she thought that she should just save this, and she liked Captain Smith. He was a nice person. So she went to him and told him that you please leave immediately because you're otherwise going to be killed. So he immediately went to his Jamestown, told the settlers that, see, Pocahontas has saved my life twice. She's such a nice, like I've told you earlier. After Captain Smith's exit, Captain Argyle came there, and there were many other white settlers coming there. So, what the chief felt that, Chief Powhatan felt that it's not safe any longer to have friendly ties with these people because we'll be outnumbered and then they will attack us and then they'll take over. So, it's better to stage a war. So what did he? First thing he did was he just sent Pocahontas to the neighboring chief. Okay, he was the chief of a tribe known as Potomac. So it was a different tribe, but they had friendly ties. And then he said, "Please keep my daughter safe at your place, because otherwise she will have any problems. She'll have to face some problems since she's friendly with them, and they might use her as a tool." It was a very smart move because he was a smart chief. He knew what would come later, but his trust was not in the right hands. This chief had good relation with Captain Argyle, and for few things he just traded Pocahontas with him, and Captain Argyle took her to his settlement, James settlement. But he didn't want to hurt her because Pocahontas was a very nice person, so nobody wanted to hurt her. But they wanted to use her as pawn. Okay, they wanted to use her for settling down scores with the Powhatan tribe. So they wanted to use her so that they could leave all those captives they have taken. They did succeed initially because the chief left few of their members, but when they went on demanding, the chief felt that it was not a very good deal because he had to protect his people. He cannot, for his love of his daughter, put the life of the tribe members in danger. So it finally stopped, and Pocahontas continued to stay in the settlement. Now, she didn't find it troublesome at all because she was never harassed. They knew her as an angel, so she was protected. As a matter of fact, she then changed her religion. She embraced Christianity and she settled there, and she was taught English. And in the meanwhile, she also got married to a farmer there, a tobacco farmer, and they had a son called Thomas, and she lived a beautiful life. And this was, of course, with the consent of her father. And by then, the place already had a governor, Mr. Thomas Dale. So, with the consent of Native Americans and the local Englishmen, the marriage took place. And this marriage, proved to be a peace treaty like thing because later these both felt that now that they have a common tie, they should settle down their scores, and they started coexisting peacefully. She even went to London, her dream town, okay, and everybody actually welcomed her because they knew that she was the reason why the captain and the people survived for long, and they tried to build a friend relation. She was the reason for negotiation. She was there. Basically, and again, like I told you, an angel. Okay, and that's why her portrait was also created. She met the king, and she was like the ambassador these days, what we say. who brought friendly ties between the Native Americans and the local English traders. So, this is the story all about, which tells you that there is always conflict, but finally, if you negotiate, then peace reigns, and you can always count on this negotiation leading to better ties and better life. Thank you.